Well, I think I've made one other comic Walking Dead video ever, and I had to make this one because you're clicking on this video, you know. So spoilers are ahead. If you haven't been keeping up with the comic book and you don't want to be spoiled, just leave right now and then come back once you've caught up. So, oh, you know, I love The Walking Dead. I do. And I always saw Rick dying near the end of the story, which would have made a lot of sense to me. And I know Kirkman's always teased it, that Rick won't survive and everything, which is fine. I always saw Rick dying. But right now, and how they did it, man, I don't know. You can't argue that Kirkman has some balls for doing this, especially right now. It's kind of a odd time for The Walking Dead, for the show and the comic, and for him to be killing one version of Rick right now. Man, that's pretty ballsy. Not gonna lie. Now, I haven't been keeping up too much with the Commonwealth story because it really hasn't interested me all that much. I've been waiting for the whole new compendium to come out. I think I read up until like 178, something like that, issue like 178, somewhere in there. So I haven't kept completely up with it, but I've been keeping up with all the broad strokes, like what Rick did to Dwight and kind of the here and there, but not, the minute details of just conversations and stuff. I just haven't kept up with it. I haven't went out and bought a comic in a long time. Been a while. But I saw this today on YouTube and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to go buy the comic. And that's what I did. I went and bought issue 190 and 191 to kind of see like the last little bit of arc here. And wow, they did it. They killed him. They killed Rick Grimes. And I just can't believe I'm saying that. I mean, Rick Grimes is dead in the comic book, or dying, I should say, technically, but he'll be dead by the next issue. And how they did it with Sebastian, Governor Milton's son, coming in and shooting Rick right in the heart. That was, there's just so many ways to kill your hero, and that is pretty much a gut punch. Now, do I completely hate it? No. It's not like Luke Skywalker dying on a rock, but it's still not great. All these villains and everything that he's defeated over the years, and this is what takes him out, is just a kid who's just angry that he has to leave his mansion. One way that they can make this okay to me is, yeah, Rick's dead. There's no way he should have the plot armor to really survive this, but all right, Rick dies. But then Carl finds out that Sebastian killed him. Carl needs to, do some evil stuff to him. I mean, drag him out in the middle of the street and chop his head off. That type of thing. That's the only way to make it okay, to me. Now, we'll see if something like that actually happens. It probably won't, because I know Carl and Rick have kind of talked about their personal growth and, society's coming back and whatever. But we need some old Walking Dead stuff to go down, and just Carl needs to become old Rick and just end it. Like, you killed my dad, fine. All right. Well, you're done. You're done. It's simple as that. Sebastian's just done. I think that would be cool if they were to do that, but we'll have to wait until June to figure it out. That'd be cool if they did that, but we'll have to wait until June to see how all this pans out. But man, they killed Rick Grimes, the comic version at the very least. I can't believe they did that. Now watch the breakdown on it, how it really connected to older issues from like the prison arc and the governor arc and some various other parts of the comic, which in that aspect, it's really cool that if this is kind of Rick's final goodbye, that they touched on all that. But it just felt kind of out of nowhere and very rushed. And not saying that deaths don't come out of nowhere, especially in The Walking Dead, but for your main hero to die just like that, it's just a little abrasive to me. Now, if this was pretty much any other character dying in this way, okay, yeah, it'd be sad, it'd suck, but, it is what it is. But to kill Rick this way, man, I just don't know how I feel about it. Like I said, I don't absolutely hate the death and how they did it, because it's pretty much, a Joffrey-esque character. That's what everyone kind of keeps comparing that Sebastian kid to, coming in and killing your hero. Now, that's true, but it's like, man, I just don't know if I love it too. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. It's just, there's just so many things that Rick has overcame, and this is what takes him out. Like, why didn't he have a gun with him? Why wasn't someone there actually watching Rick? If they can watch the governor, why don't they watch Rick? Because I'm sure there's plenty of people that are honestly PO'd at Rick for pretty much starting a revolution in the Commonwealth, even though it's peaceful, but it's still a revolution and all the elites are going to be all pissed off. I don't know how the comic is going to be after Rick is done. Now, it could be just as good as the show once Rick left, and it could be very good, because I really had no hopes for the show after Rick left, and I honestly, truly, really enjoyed the rest of season 9. Very, very, very good season. I really enjoyed it. But the comic, it'll still be good, probably, because at least they still have Carl. At least they still have Carl. They have that, compared to the show. But I just don't know, because even though the show is very Rick-centric this whole time until he left, the comic has been even more Rick-centric. Everything's been about Rick and his family. And then just to rip half of that out, just rip Rick right out of the story and kill him like that, is just wow. Now, I know Kirkman said that he's going to end the comic book at around issue 300 or right around there. So we really have like 109 issues to go, say if he does end at issue 300. So this has really been 2/3 of Rick's story and 1/3 of Carl's story, I guess. Is that the route we're going? But I just really thought we'd have a longer time with Rick, especially in the whole grand scheme of things, because there's so many fans that are so sad that he left the show. I figured he was at least going to be safe for a little bit longer in the comic, because a lot of people that watch the show read the comics and vice versa. So I figured he's going to be safe for at least a little bit longer. And then maybe Rick would be going out like in issue 280, something like that. Maybe even like 250 at the earliest, where there's like 50 issues without him. And then maybe there's some time jumps where Carl's a legit adult at this point, you know, surviving in the world, leading Alexandria or the Commonwealth or whatever. But no, that's been taken from us. Robert Kirkman pulled the trigger, I guess figuratively, and he wrote that Rick Grimes has to die in issue 191. I guess he's still technically alive, but he is dying. So by issue 192, the end of the 4th compendium, I believe, he will be dead. Rick Grimes will be dead. That is just a sad thought. And that just goes to add on top of all the people we've lost in this last week, from if you're like me who enjoys other nerd media, I'll just say, you know, I don't want to spoil anything for Avengers or like Supernatural or something like that. But if you watch any of those shows or movies, you lost a lot of characters this week. You really have, man. I feel like I've just been on a run lately this past like year and a half where any character that I like has to die. It really, really stinks, and I don't like it. It's really annoying. But that's just where we are right now. I guess I'm growing up. All my characters got to die in one way or another. Sad. It's real sad, and I don't really care for the direction it went. I think Rick should have lived at least a little bit longer, but we're not getting it. We're not going to get it. But, hey, this is the hand we've been dealt, and we got to do what we got to do. Keep on reading, and it is what it is. You know, hopefully the story gets even better with Carl at the lead, but we'll just have to wait and see. All right. That has been my rant review of The Walking Dead comic issue 191. I know I usually don't do this at all, but I figured it was a big enough of a deal that I had to come and talk about it. Let me know down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on Rick dying? You're probably sad just like I am, but I want to hear your thoughts down below. While down there, if you can like the video and subscribe, that'd be greatly appreciated. Well, until next time, guys, everyone lock your doors and stay away from Sebastian's. All right, everyone. Have a great day.